It's raining recruits. Let's get to it. Okay, so Rutgers football had a really good weekend, signing 7 recruits over the weekend. It's been hard keeping up with everything. As soon as you put out a video, there's more news. So here's a couple guys that wasn't able to fit into my past couple videos, which brings our number of recruits over the weekend to 7. And we jump from around 20, 22 to number 14. We'll get to that in a second, but we land 6'5", 205, 205-pound athlete from Macon, Georgia, Rinaldo Callaway III. And we get another big man, Logan Anthony. He's a offensive lineman, probably guard out of Palmerton, Pennsylvania. Once again, Pennsylvania guys stepping up. Boy, I have to tell you, we are, as I mentioned the other day, the wall around New Jersey crumbling a little bit, not as much focused on New Jersey recruiting. I don't know if that's just the way that it fleshed out. We only have 2 in the current recruiting class. But as we have more recruiting success outside the state, going into areas that we haven't been to before, and recruiting in areas, talent-rich areas like the SEC, by getting Callaway, this is the 3rd time in the past couple weeks that we beat out Kentucky for a recruit. Kentucky also offered Callaway, and Brady Owens and Tyler Duell also were offered by Kentucky, or Kentucky was hot on their trails, and that's a sign of progress. And I've talked about this a lot. On paper, it's fine, it's okay, it provides a little bit of spotlight, a little bit of marketing material, but you have to be able to execute on the field. Nonetheless, Greg Schiano doing what Greg Schiano does, and he's collecting commitments early in the cycle, getting off to a good start. And if you look at Greg Schiano's personality, that's probably the way that this isn't by accident. He wants to set the tone early, get a good start, get the ball rolling. We do well at the beginning of summer. It seems like every year. Last year we climbed inside the top 10. Now we knew we wouldn't stay there very long. As soon as the big boys get rolling, we wound up finishing 33rd, which is probably about where we're going to be. When you look at the top 5 right now, 3 of the programs are in the Big Ten. USC is number 1, and I think Penn State might be 2 or 3, and Ohio State 5. That's life in the Big Ten. Nonetheless, Callaway was hosted by another Georgia guy over the weekend, and that is freshman cornerback Michael Clayton. Quotes from Callaway saying it was good. So where he and Michael Clayton are from, it's like 15 minutes away. And he just felt it was all good vibes. And, when you're going from the southeast into the northeast, a little bit different. And so having a familiar face around to help you get acclimated is always a good sign. And, speaking about beating Kentucky, pushing to Georgia, I mean, yeah, fertile recruiting ground, but, what was the quote about climbing, why climb Mount Everest, whatever it is, because it's there. Well, why do you go into Georgia and go up against the big boys? Because that's where the recruits are. And coaching staff doing a good job. Now for us, this is progress, just being in the mix in these fertile recruiting grounds. the next step is to win a lot of them, and we're starting to win some. Jared Smith, another Georgia prospect, 4-star. So we're making progress. And again, that's on paper. But Callaway was committed to South Florida, and we flipped him. Now, with the way that NIL is today and, all that other player movement, we might lose some guys, but Coach Shiano and staff are definitely building depth. They're getting off to a good start, getting good-sized athletes, and you're probably, these guys generally do a good job. This coaching staff does a good job with player retainment. Well, it is what it is. The world today, it's a different world. So you might lose a guy or two. So adding good-sized athletes and depth is a problem that we've had for several years now, especially before Greg Schiano came back. So this is all good stuff. And you're going to compete in the Big Ten. This is what you got to do. And we've talked about this 1,000 times. I won't go into it, how difficult it is to recruit to the New Jersey area. Nonetheless, just talking about Callaway getting acclimated to the Northeast, he said this is his first visit up north. Hope there's no culture shock involved. Said he wants to get a feel for Big Ten football, which is seemingly now turning into a driving force of Rutgers landing guys. It's guys wanting to be associated with the Big Ten. Maybe you're a really good player and you're from the Southeast. Maybe you're getting a little bit overlooked, or maybe your recruiting isn't as hot as you would like because of all the competition. And Big Ten is competitive academically and athletically. Coach Schiano always said, Big Ten is where he wanted us to be. This is where we should be. And I'm like, we're not, we're not there academically or athletically just yet with the Michigans or Northwesterns of the world. But it's turning into a thing. People want to be associated with the Big Ten. He goes on to say he wants to see, how do we go about our business, getting the feel for the coaches and the overall environment. Last year, he recorded 100 total tackles, 66 solo, 29 tackles for loss. That's good stuff. 11 and a half sacks, 3 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, caught 17 passes as a tight end for 274 yards. We're getting a lot of those dual guys that are athletic on both sides of the ball, maybe play multiple positions. We got quarterbacks, guys playing quarterback and linebacker. Watched a little bit of him. You could see he's dialed in. He sees into the backfield very well. He's got a great first step and instinct and explosiveness. So we'll see how, he's probably going to put on a little bit of size at 6'5", 205. Put on some LBs. He could be a Mo Toure replacement at some point down the road. On to the next guy. Is another guy. We're building that wall. And I've said this a million times, can't have enough offensive linemen, especially in the Big Ten, and with the problems we've had with depth and injuries, and quite frankly, not being very good until, Greg Schiano, too, came along with Pat Flaherty. Logan Anthony, 6'4", 315. Boy, that's a perfect guard size. Keep in mind, these guys are still going to grow a little bit, so right now, he's a perfect guard size. He's from Palmerton, Pennsylvania. He is a 3-star, according to Todd Conklin. I didn't see a lot of rating services with ratings for him. So Todd did some reporting on him. I love reading these descriptions of offensive linemen, that they're gritty, and they're tough, and their ability to dominate opponents and get their what used to be called road graders. I love hearing that he's a road grader, uh, a type of offensive tackle, offensive guard. He, kind of sounds a lot like, remember a couple years ago, Khalees Fuaga from Oregon State. He was drafted by the States out of the middle of the first round. Fuaga is, maybe a little bigger, but like I said, Logan's, has a little bit of time to go, put on an inch and a few more LBs. But he apparently, according to Toderick, underwent a significant physical transformation. Coaching staff was impressed by his new footwork, his increased agility, and this guy love guys that want to be at Rutgers. We talk about how we kind of get disrespected, Rutgers being a fallback university, yada yada yada. But John Stone spent some time with John Stone as his host. And Logan said he's basically another version of me, was his quote. We meshed well together and did a lot of fun things. He showed me the city and took me to the bunch of stuff like Top Golf and things like that. He was helpful in answering his questions. Said he can't wait to get to know the rest of the team better. And, when you're talking about young guys, that's going to chase the bag and, go to a winning program, all that. But it's quite often about the relationships, whether it's with other guys and the coaching. It's like going on a job interview. Are you comfortable with this? You never know. So comfort level is a big thing unless you're just a mercenary. Nonetheless, a fifth offensive lineman to commit in this recruiting cycle. And like I said, this guy put in the work, wanted to be here. He dropped 30 pounds, playing some hoops. I'd like to see offensive linemen that have played basketball in the past, because it gives them some pretty good footwork. And as I mentioned, the coaches were, according to this story by Toderick, they were stunned how he suddenly became much quicker. That's what happens when you lose 30 pounds. And Logan canceled his trip to West Virginia. This is where he wants to be. And some more quotes for him. I already know how they coach already. I know the type of people they have on staff there. They are all great, energetic people who I can trust. Another thing, when you talk about guys committing, they want to feel that they can trust you personally, but also trust you in knowing what to do, how to go about it, and how to put them into positions to succeed. It's a lot like that. And so in the end, he goes on to say that people at Rutgers are genuine. If anything, from you could say about us, people from New Jersey, we're pretty straightforward and hardworking. He said, people at Rutgers are genuine and hardworking. The kind of culture resonates with me, and I feel the educational opportunities are unmatched here. It's a top 50 university overall. Well, those of us who think those ratings don't always matter, it does matter sometimes, especially if parents are involved. He goes on to say he chose Rutgers because of the people and resources. These people are awesome and very genuine. They work hard and stay in their own lane until it's game time. That fits me. Being committed is awesome. I'm ready to start working out really hard. Education is a key piece. And he said he loved to get hanging out with the players that he got to get to know, and they all basically said the same things about the coaches and the program. All of them bought in, and you can tell. Congratulations to Coach Sciano and staff, being really good salesmen. Coach doing a great job. In the end, Anthony chose Rutgers. He had like 20 plus offers: Syracuse, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, and the like. So that now gives us 14 verbals for the class of 2026. And the thing that, we talked about 5 or 6 offensive linemen. But these are big boys. These are not, if you remember the Minnesota team from a couple years ago, boy, their offensive line, these guys were all 6'6". And I think Ethan might have been on one of those teams, and they averaged like 200 yards passing, 200 yards. They averaged over 400 yards per game. But Anthony's 6'4", 315. Maybe he'll probably grow 6'5", 330-ish. Tyler Duell, 6'6", 285. He'll put on some LBs. Tyrell Simpson, 6'7", 315. Jared Smith, 6'5", 330. Cameron Green, 6'7", 315. Coach Schiano and staff are serious about going about building the way you need to build with, yes, guys like Anthony, cultural fits, want to be here, want to put in the work, are part of the culture. But they're going after guys that are physical and athletic studs. And if nothing else, we will be probably over the past couple of years, we're starting to turn into a Big Ten type of program and team. And although I've been kind of critical of not being able to turn that into W's, 7-6, 2 years in a row, compelling circumstances, injuries, yada, 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 not having a quarterback. These are kind of the steps that you take. Those in pieces, you're organizing, you're creating a roster, you're performing roster management by building the way, and sometimes it just takes time. Got to get the guys in the pipeline, got to get them used to your culture, you got to put on some size, nutrition, get their heads right, and by getting Big Ten guys that are 6'7" and 315 and having a bunch of them and having some depth, these are steps in the right direction, although this year is going to be a pretty tough schedule, so we can be a much better team and still be 7-6. Nonetheless, congratulations to coaching staff getting off to another good start. We'll see how we finish up. I don't know, pretty soon we should be hearing about an AD. We'll probably do a lot of grousing about that or celebrating. You never know. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Congratulations to Rutgers staff on another good recruiting role, and we'll see you the next time.